is an urgent Kaiser emergency broadcast. Attention residents, containment breach has an signature. Your containment breach, residents, containment breach, imagine emergency broadcast.
Anonymous cruelty has always found a way. In the 18th and 19th centuries, it arrived in the form of poison pen letters, unsigned notes, slipped into the post laced with lies, threats and humiliation. They shattered reputations, spread paranoia, and in some cases pushed victims toward ruin or suicide. In small towns, one anonymous envelope could fracture entire communities, leaving everyone suspecting everyone else. Today, the stationery is gone, but the impulse remains. Social media has turned the poison pen into a megaphone. Platforms like X, Facebook, and Instagram allow abusers to hide behind anonymous handles, broadcasting smears, orchestrating pile-ons, and tormenting targets in real time. What once took days to arrive in the post now detonates in seconds, reaching not a handful of neighbours but thousands or millions. The consequences are no less severe: anxiety, depression, reputational wreckage, and retreat from public life. Women and marginalised groups who were disproportionately targeted by poison pen letters still endure the sharpest edge of online abuse. Let's go back, way back in time, and revisit two poison pen letters. Number 1. In the early 1900s, the genteel city of Elizabeth, New Jersey, was rocked by a series of anonymous, malicious letters targeting some of its most prominent citizens. The chief victim was Mrs. Florence Jones, the wife of a respected dentist. Not only did Mrs. Jones receive these poison pen letters, some merely catty, others outright indecent, but her household was also bombarded with unsolicited, embarrassing literature on topics like obesity, insanity, and addiction, all ordered in her name. Suspicion eventually fell on Mrs. Anna Pollard, a well-regarded neighbour, wife of a public service engineer, and mother of 2. In March 1914, Mrs. Pollard was arrested and charged with sending the letters. At her sensational trial, she appeared veiled, with her minister at her side, as handwriting experts testified that the same typewriter had been used for both her personal correspondence and the poison pen letters. The defence argued that many local women had access to her typewriter, casting suspicion on others, including Mrs. Jones's estranged sister-in-law. The jury, perhaps unwilling to believe a woman of Mrs. Pollard's social standing could be responsible, acquitted her. But the letters resumed, now written by hand or with words cut out from newspapers. Once again, Mrs. Jones was the primary target. This time, a federal postal inspector set a trap that caught Mrs. Pollard red-handed. Confronted with the evidence, she confessed. Her motive, she admitted, was social jealousy, a desperate desire to keep up with the Joneses. At sentencing, Mrs. Pollard wept openly. The judge, showing mercy, fined her $200, a significant sum at the time, today's $5,000, but spared her jail time. Nevertheless, the social consequences were severe. Mrs. Pollard was expelled from her local chapter of the Daughters of the American Revolution, a humiliation for someone so conscious of her social status. She lived out her days in the same house, her reputation forever tarnished. This tale of envy, respectability, and anonymous malice became one of America's most infamous poison pen letter scandals, illustrating how even the most upright communities could be unsettled by the venom of the anonymous pen. Number 2. In the quiet seaside town of Littlehampton, in the early 1920s, Rose Gooding found herself at the centre of an extraordinary scandal that would grip the nation. Rose, a working-class woman with a lively spirit, had once been friends with her neighbour, Edith Swan. Their relationship soured, and soon after, the town was plagued by a torrent of obscene and malicious anonymous letters, what would come to be known as the infamous Littlehampton poison pen case. Initially, suspicion fell squarely on Rose. In 1920, Edith accused her of being the author of the foul-mouthed letters, and with little more than hearsay and Edith's testimony about Rose's supposed use of filthy language, Rose was arrested and sentenced to 10 days in prison. Yet, even as Rose served her time, the letters continued to circulate. Undeterred, authorities brought Rose to trial again in 1921, this time on charges of publishing obscene libel. The evidence was weak. No handwriting analysis was provided, and the jury was denied the chance to compare Edith's own writing to that in the letters. Nevertheless, Rose was found guilty and sentenced to a year of hard labour in Portsmouth prison. She served 4 months before being released, but the ordeal was far from over. As the poison pen letters kept arriving throughout Littlehampton, it became clear that Rose could not have been the culprit while incarcerated. This revelation finally prompted a deeper investigation. Scotland Yard's Inspector George Nichols, along with policewoman Gladys Moss, began to suspect that Edith Swan herself was the true author. Evidence mounted. A notebook filled with obscenities in the same hand as the letters was found, and blotting paper with matching handwriting was discovered in Edith's home. Determined to clear Rose's name, the police devised a clever sting operation. They marked a batch of stamps with invisible ink and arranged for Edith to purchase them at her local post office. Under surveillance, Edith was caught red-handed posting one of her poison pen letters using the marked stamps. This time, the evidence was undeniable. Edith Swan was finally brought to trial, and after years of suspicion and false accusations against Rose, she was found guilty and sentenced to 12 months in prison. Rose's name was cleared, and she was awarded compensation for her wrongful conviction. Thus, the story of Rose Gooding stands as a testament to resilience in the face of injustice. A woman wrongfully accused who endured public shame and imprisonment only to see the truth come to light through dogged investigation and the eventual unmasking of the real perpetrator. Let's now revisit 2 modern-day poison letter stories. Number 1. In 2003, the Boston suburb of Wellesley was shaken by a scandal involving a series of anonymous poison pen letters sent to teachers, students, and parents at the local high school. The letters contained malicious rumours and fabricated accusations about teachers' personal lives, students' behaviours, and school administration decisions. The anonymous letters created a toxic atmosphere, undermining trust within the school community. After months of turmoil and internal investigations, a junior staff member, Melissa Carter, was identified as the source through email tracing and IP address tracking. Carter admitted to sending the letters out of frustration over workplace conflicts and perceived favoritism. She resigned from her position and underwent counselling. This case demonstrated how the poison pen letter tradition had adapted to digital technology, using email and anonymous online accounts to inflict harm. Number 2. In the London borough of Sutton, during the mid-1980s, a series of anonymous poison pen letters spread fear and suspicion throughout the community. The letters contained vicious personal attacks, baseless accusations, and threats aimed at several residents, often targeting families with young children. The letters were left in mailboxes and slipped under doors, causing anxiety and mistrust among neighbours. One woman, Mrs. Joan Phillips, was wrongly suspected and ostracised by her community due to the timing of her presence near several letter drop sites. After a lengthy investigation involving forensic linguistics and DNA evidence, the police arrested a local man, Peter Davies, in 1988. Davies confessed to sending the letters out of a twisted desire to create chaos and disrupt social order. He was sentenced to 2 years in prison. The case highlighted how poison pen harassment had evolved from handwritten notes to more anonymous and pervasive acts of psychological cruelty. The poison pen letter may have traded envelopes for emojis, but its aim remains the same: humiliate, isolate, and wound from behind a veil of anonymity. In a time when tweets, comments, and DMs can spread just as much venom, it's up to each of us to break the cycle. Before you hit send, ask yourself, is this a message or a modern poison pen letter? Poison pen letters aren't just history. They never died, they just went digital. They've evolved into anonymous posts, shady comments, and viral takedowns. Because anonymous cruelty didn't disappear, it just changed platforms. The technology has changed, the malice has not. The poison pen lives on, only now it fits in your pocket and never sleeps. Like the video and leave a comment. Subscribe for more twisted crime stories, and hit the bell so you don't miss what they don't want you to read. Share it with someone who still thinks trolls are a new invention.